Oh well. Anyway, I'd like to hear from my listeners as to what they think of me being fired for using the word "spigurella" when talking about boxing, which we now know was and always should have been totally dominated by African American federations these past years. Man, I can't believe it. You would think that the man on the bridge with a possible bomb to end all life in this area would be bringing in the most calls. But no, it's all about some stupid misunderstanding that I get the most calls with. I don't know about you, fellow viewers, but bomb or no bomb, I say shoot that wacko down. Sound flipping. Light bounces around. Lands on Pastor Walker. For we trust in the living God, who is the Savior of all men, especially those that believe. These things command and teach. And we ain't teaching it, no sir. Lights fade to black. Act 1, Scene 3. Starts. Act 1, Scene 3. As the lights come back up, the front curtain parts with the sound of radio channel flipping being heard. Spotlight flashes quickly from one announcer to the other. The flipping and flashing is to show time quickly elapsing. As the flipping and flashing continues, a curtain behind them opens up, revealing a bridge cable with the same scaled proportions as the real Golden Gate. The cable extends from below the stage, for actors to come up out of the stage, and rises past the curtain. Behind the cable is a black screen for the audience to use its imagination in the Bay Area. The black screen can represent the night sky. When both curtains are completely open, the radio announcers are heard in the dark. The radio talk show hosts are heard in the dark, and a light. Oh, excuse me. When the light comes when the curtain is completely open, the radio announcers are in the dark, and a light is shining down on two men on the bridge. Sounds of helicopters and police radios are buzzing in the background. The two men on the cable are part of a SWAT team. One of them is the captain, who looks like he could be in his 40s, but being that this is the future, he is probably a lot older. The two men are looking up the side of the cable as if seeing Edward Rexon near the top of the bridge's tower. Both are wearing tethered devices to keep them from being blown off the bridge. First officer. He hasn't moved in about 6 hours, so according to the chopper guys, they think he's chained himself to the bridge with only 100 feet of cable to go. I guess he's having second thoughts about passing the line for saucer attack. If that's so, do you think the chopper was right in saying that he has a bomb? Captain. Maybe he's the type who just likes to talk before blowing himself up. I say let him talk. Do you think the chopper made an accurate reading? If he did, I sure in hell don't want to be standing around here. Look, Hayata, it's ground zero. Believe me, if he has a proton bomb on him, we'll be the lucky ones in this part of the city. Still, we've got to get him talking. Can't we at least wait and see what he has to say on that old video disc? He might say just what kind of bomb he has there. Hayata, we still don't even know where to find a video disc player that works. According to the detective who was supposed to have one working, it doesn't work. I say, let's go up there and hear him out. Captain touches his wristwatch, then talks into it, saying, "This is Captain Hernandez. I'm going up to see what our terrorist friend has to say." Hernandez out. As Captain Hernandez starts making his way cautiously up his cable, a voice rings out from below. "Ahoy there, Captain Hernandez!" Captain Hernandez and Hayata look about. Captain. "Well, speak of the devil." Hayata. "It's the detective I was just telling you about." To Detective Campbell. Detective Campbell comes up from below the stage and onto the cable, dressed in an overcoat, flashing his badge at Hayata. Well, were you able to see what the video message said? Not yet, but I was able to get orders to interview the terrorist. I see. Well, do you know when they will have a video disc player on hand that works? Sure the hell don't. And I don't know when the repairman, I mean person, will have one in my office fixed. Will have the one in my office fixed. Of course, I've got orders to go up there and see what he has to say if it can't be. You sure you want to go up there? Besides being blown to smithereens by a bomb, you may be blown to your death by those killer winds. I don't think he'll kill me. He said he had a message to the world. If he blows himself up now, what would that accomplish? Call me crazy, but I really think he just wants to talk. I think he's waiting for something. Well, if you can get him to talk, maybe we can end this standoff peacefully. I think things will be okay. He probably has nothing more frightening on him than a Bible. Now that is a frightening thought. Aaron begins to laugh. A Quran is more like it. The first surface hospital. A Quran is more like it. Yeah, that's right. Campbell begins to walk up the cable. Captain Campbell. What? Are you going up there without a tether? You're not going up there without a tether, are you? It's all in the attitude, sir. I've got zero acrophobia. Of course, having sticky rubber soles like these really helps that attitude. That and my little friend here, with a Cuban accent, little friend here, Cable opens his overcoat, revealing a handgun-like weapon. Captain, man, I hope you aren't in close range if you have to use that thing. Me too. Have you gotten it registered yet? Too damn busy. Too damn busy. Sure you don't want to... You sure you don't want my rope? Using... Campbell, using what you have would only slow me up and take time. And time is the one thing we don't have much of. Wish me luck. As he turns and starts going up the cable, the two men behind him shake their heads. First officer. Looks like he's going to be the big hero here. Looks like he's going to be the big hero here. He needs to be. He's our worst detective. Really? He should have been locked up a long time ago, or at least fired. I've actually covered for his ass more than once. Why? Let's just say that he's too much of a dreamer. Light fades to black. Act 1, Scene 4 begins here. Okay, Act 1, Scene 4. Edward P. Rexon, still wearing a suit and tie, is seen standing chained to the walkway of the Golden Gate Bridge. He stands with his sunglasses on, even though it's now dark. Besides the sound of blowing wind, the sound of helicopter-like vehicles are heard flying about in the distance. There is a portable radio in Mr. Rexon's hands, which he has up to his ear. Mr. Rexon looks down the cable. He then looks up into the sky. Mouths. Finally. A few seconds later, the voice of Detective Campbell is heard from under the stage. Voice of Campbell. Ahoy there! Rexon waves to him and then continues to listen to the radio, turning the dial. Campbell then comes up onto the stage. I'm leaving at 7:30. Good night, Grandma. Campbell then comes up onto the stage and onto the cable. He's now 10 feet from Rexon. Campbell. Habla inglés? Rexon. A little. Oh, Spanish. Good. I would have gotten up here sooner. I just had no idea how incredibly scary it is, what with these winds blowing so fiercely. And to think that I've been thinking of jumping from this thing for quite some time. Well, I don't think I could do that now. No, sir. Why would you want to jump when things are getting so terrific for the human race? Just plain boredom is all. But I don't want to jump now. Looks over the side. No, siree, don't want to jump. Besides, with my luck, I just might survive a fall from here. Horrible thought. Looks down again, kind of laughs. Boy, sure is scary looking down from here, isn't it? Turns your stomach and makes your feet tingle. I know what you mean. Camp Rexon says, I know what you mean. I've been mentally practicing for this moment for centuries, and I'm still a bit jittery. This is Detective Campbell. I'm now confronting the possible terrorist. Centuries, did you say? Well, let's just say it seems like it. What have you been practicing for? Something I call Operation Habakkuk. Habakkuk? Habakkuk? What the hell is that? Look, before I tell you anything, please tell the law that I'm really not a terrorist. From what I'm getting off this radio, I think I've gained all the notoriety I need. People are beginning to listen in, and I've still not had a chance to state what I'm up here for. I've heard an old friend of mine call into San Francisco's #1 talk radio station telling its listeners that I am a terrorist. Are you? That's what he wants the public to continue believing. And why is that? He wants you to try to shoot me off the bridge because he thinks that what I'm about to do will end the world. You mean you do have a bomb? Not exactly, but after I trigger it, I feel things should start happening rather quickly. I'm pretty sure that if the police don't stop me, he'll be the next to try. Why? Because he no longer believes in an afterlife. He feels like God is just a god of drama, and we are only here for his entertainment. In other words, he believes God to be a liar about humankind being eternal with him. That's the reason why the rapture continues to look near, only to be constantly postponed, is because God really has no plan for the hereafter, and that this is all that is important to God. The only thing that actually exists. He thinks that if the rapture does take place, the whole universe, along with us, will cease to exist 1,007 years after it, only to be replaced with another universe and new characters to entertain you. Interesting. So there are two of you. In a way, yes. There were more, but by using violent means, he's gotten it down to just me and him now. The only difference between us is that he fears the rapture, whereas I welcome it. There was a time he wanted the rapture more than anyone, but after seeing so many rapture dates come and go, I think such bitter disappointment made him insane. Well, hey, I warned him to not be into rapture date setting. So far, he's the only one I know who takes this very seriously. I'm up here in the hopes that people will take it seriously also, but from my point of view, because I believe God to be good and trustworthy, and his return is now really imminent. I believe God to be good and trustworthy, and his return is now really imminent. Forgive me, but this is sounding so bizarre to me. You've given me an info overload. You don't mind telling me why you were up here again? Well, I felt I had to make it look like I was a possible terrorist to grab people's attention, because I feel that any hour from now, whatever I'm doing now will soon be totally eclipsed and ignored as everyone focuses their attention on the Middle East. Watching what I feel will be the complete fulfillment of Jeremiah chapter 49 with Habakkuk chapter 3, followed by Joel chapter 2 in Europe. Why? The world is going to end. Oh, that's right. But it won't happen until Baghdad falls to the Kurds, or is it when Baghdad gets nuked by Israel? Well, one or the other. And you have to do something, right? I strongly believe so. Like what? When I hear on the radio that Baghdad has fallen to the Kurds, I'll recite the words Jeremiah commanded to Seraiah to say before casting his book into the Euphrates. Although I'm not Seraiah, and although the San Francisco Bay Area isn't the Euphrates, it is believed that Iraq isn't only Babylon, but the entire world is Babylon as well. You actually have Jeremiah's book in your backpack? No, I have a videotape of me reading the entire book of Jeremiah. Back in the time of Jeremiah, books were in the shapes of scrolls, much like the videotape I made of myself 40 years ago. I have bound a stone to it as Jeremiah commanded Sariah, and I'll cast the videotape with the stone. I'll cast the videotape with stone into the bay and recite what Sariah was told to do. Of course, I won't do that until I hear that Jeremiah 50 and 51, along with Habakkuk, being talked about on the air in relation to what's currently happening in Iraq. I feel reciting those lines and casting the tape will mean nothing until then. Oh, I see. Ever think this Sariah guy, or however you say his name, might have already done what Jeremiah told him to do? I doubt that he did, since the world is still here in its present form. Besides, the words he gives Sariah to say before throwing the book into the river, and the words he tells him to say after, sound a little... well, they sound a little hokey. Yeah, I bet they do. Yet, you are going to recite them. Just in case Sariah did think Jeremiah was joking and didn't go along with his command, yes. I see. Man. I had a large notebook on me and was flashing at the choppers in the hopes that people would see the scriptural passages as to why I feel the latest conflict with Iraq is significant. But right when it looked like they were getting close to see what my message was, I slipped and the wind blew it out of my hands and into the sea. Hopefully, it was just God's little way of telling me that the timing wasn't quite right, that I would have just interfered with a juggernaut that is about to be unleashed. Pause. Strong sound of wind. Other wind. Well, better the notebook than the messenger. So, what do you want to do now? I feel I have to somehow get people to read Jeremiah 50 and 51, plus all of Habakkuk. Those passages, I feel, are now finally coming to light. If people can read them with the concept of what's taking place with the Kurds in Iraq after our giving them air cover to topple Ali Mahdi from power, then maybe they can accept Christ and escape the horror that is about to be unleashed onto the world. It makes a moaning sound. Camel pause on the sea winds. This is all supposed to happen right after the rapture, right? Right. So, you and those you are going to convince of this will vanish off the planet soon, right? That's what most Christians believe. Then those that remain will be chased around by weirdos with marks on their foreheads, right? According to Revelation, exactly. Can you look me squarely in the eyes and tell me that you really believe people would actually be willing to take the mark of the beast and go to hell rather than get their heads chopped off and go to heaven? That they would willingly follow the wishes of the Antichrist and bring about some computerized marking system? Does that seem even the smallest bit credible to you? Be truthful now. Does it fit human behavior? Something tells me you've put a lot of thought into this. Oh, I have. And you think you and others who can believe this will vanish off the planet soon, right? Oh, I don't think people will vanish. I don't think people will be disappearing. But you just told me that you believe in the rapture. Yes, I do. And I believe that the saved will be hidden from the evil to come. But their bodies will be left behind on the earth. So, in other words, you and your fellow Christians are going to suddenly drop dead at the rapture? Is that it? Actually, quite the opposite. Our bodies and minds will remain living and thriving on the earth. Living it up, I guess you could say. But our souls, our spirits, actually, will be raptured. You mean to tell me that Christians are about to become soulless? Worse. Our bodies will be immortal and demon-filled for 7 years. They'll be what I call walk-ins. It is these walk-ins who will bring about the wishes of the Antichrist and the system known as the Mark of the Beast. But it may not even be computerized due to the nuclear war that will take place at the beginning. Can't kill them, huh? Only in Armageddon. They will be transported there to be destroyed by Christ and his return. They will be crushed in the great wine press. What part of the Bible do you find this in? Well, it all began when I was confused over Christ saying, "My spirit doesn't dwell in temples made with hands." Yet in the Old Testament, it talks about the sanctuaries of the Lord's house becoming polluted and desolate in the future. I mean, what are holy places? Supposedly, the body of the believers is the temple of God. Supposedly, the body of the believer is the temple of God. So when it talks about aliens, foreigners entering the sanctuaries of the Lord's house, I take it that it doesn't mean aliens, but demons. And you have scriptural proof for this, no doubt. Well, since you sound interested, for starters, you can read Isaiah 57, verse 1 and 2, then Joel 2. Oh, and then there's Micah 7, and, well, Campbell, well, I think I've heard everything now. So, if the rapture takes place, you'll start cussing and spitting pea soup on people, right? Probably not. But if you miss the rapture, a good way to tell whether or not I or any other Christian has become a walk-in would be to ask if we can say the sentence, "Jesus Christ is Lord." A demonic being doesn't have the Holy Spirit, and no one without the Holy Spirit can say Jesus is Lord. No one can say Jesus is Lord. Campbell looks up and smiles. If you don't believe me, the next time you see someone in a trance with a spirit guide talking through him or her, ask the spirit guide within to say Jesus Christ is Lord. If it really is a spirit guide and not a prankster doing a good acting job, you'll be fascinated to see it beating around the bush on that sentence. You'll also see it become violent if you push it to say it. Sure, it'll be able to say things like He is Lord, but it won't be able to say the sentence Jesus is Lord. So after the rapture, those who have made the rapture won't be able to say Jesus is Lord. Campbell sounds strong wind blown by. Oh. Sir, do you get out much, or is this your first time? Look, until people start reading those passages I come upon, and start reading them in the light of what's now happening in Iraq, well, of course people are going to be questioning my sanity like you are doing now. I take it you want to see a reporter. Exactly. You know, I don't want to shatter your dreams of originality here, but you aren't the first one to be doing this on this very bridge, and you probably won't be the last either. Really? I'm afraid not. You see, way back at the turn of this millennium, a guy was actually at the very top of this bridge, right there, saying similar things that you are telling me. Then, when the rapture failed to occur, and when he was starting to unchain himself in the tower, the news began reporting his shady past that he had molested young boys. With that, he jumped off, only instead of hitting the sea, he hit the concrete base that holds the bridge up. Instead of molesting boys, I thought it was having sex with an underage girl. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, I guess you know the story better than I do. I know all the history of this bridge. It's now as if it were a part of me. When they find out your name, I wonder what the news will be reporting about you. That I'm a very boring man who probably read into things. Well, whatever they say about you, I'm afraid I can't allow you to continue disturbing the bridge's flow of traffic. Plus, you are starting to cause a panic in the city. They shouldn't have called the SWAT team down the way they did. That probably frightened the people more than my being on the bridge. Also, I can't get down until I hear the passages I told you being bantered about on the radio. Campbell, getting within 5 feet of Rexon. According to the chopper with the proton bomb detector, they picked up something in your backpack with the same atomic signature of a proton bomb. That's why they backed down. How'd you accomplish that, anyway? It's just an old smoke detector. I added 4 more atomic fixtures to it, though, to mimic one of those bombs. Wow, I didn't know you could do that. Not many do. You don't mind taking those sunglasses off? I'm afraid I do mind. I mean, I'm not wearing them to look cool. I'm wearing them to give me a sense of unreality so I don't get struck with acrophobia. Believe it or not, I've got a bit of case of vertigo. Got any weapons on you? I can't tell you. Campbell's now 3 feet from Rexon. Campbell. Well, after what you did to the 2 cops, I guess you don't need any weapons, right? Cops? They were cops, but the radio said they were cops. Cops? They were cops? Cops they were. Well, I guess I screwed myself more than I thought. Yeah, afraid so. Well, all the more to not back down now. I mean, if I've gone this far, I'll just be locked up for life now, right? I'll just be locked up for life, right? It'll seem like it, since they give you drugs to speed up your aging. Since they give drugs to speed up a prisoner's aging process now. Well, looks like so. Well, Rexon. Well, it looks so good for the rapture now. I guess that's a chance I'll have to take. I'll have to suffer its consequences. Campbell says, in doing so, aren't you setting a rapture date yourself? Doing something that you accuse your crazy friend of doing? Sir, I'm just trying to preach in season and out of season. And of course now I've never ever seen it look so in season. Being so the case, if you try to take me down without giving me a chance to warn the world of something that has grave consequences, well, I won't surrender easily. Well, let's see if God wants you on this bridge, okay? Sounds fine with me. Campbell suddenly produces a stun gun. He presses a button on it, causing arcs of voltage to bound from it. Rexon, although chained to the bridge, gets in a kung fu-like stance. Campbell lunges the stun gun at Rexon. Rexon dodges to the side. Campbell lunges again and again. Sparks of electricity are heard snapping in the air. Rexon continues to duck and dodge it. Campbell smiles. Boy, sure don't make 90-year-olds like they used to. Rexon, how'd you know my age? How'd you know my age? That would be telling. Campbell continues to lunge with the stunner. Rexon quits dodging it and begins blocking it with his hands and arms. Campbell takes a swing at Rexon. Rexon blocks the punch. Another punch is blocked also. Suddenly a block by Rexon is so strong that it almost causes Campbell to lose it. Campbell lets out a yell and quickly grabs onto the cable with walkway with a look of terror in his eyes. He breathes hard, pushes himself back onto the center of the walkway. He looks furiously at Rexon and charges at him. Rexon jumps up, kicks the hand with the stunner to the side, then kicks Campbell on the side of the head with his other foot, knocking Campbell grasping wildly to the walkway cable again. His feet actually swinging out over the side. The wind blows hard. Campbell, wide-eyed, swings himself back onto the walkway. The fury leaves his face, and he laughs wildly. Rexon looks concerned for him. Rexon, Gad, that was a close one for you. Are you okay? Kind of exhilarating. If I weren't so afraid of falling, you'd be mine by now. I didn't mean to attack a peace officer. It's just that I didn't spend years of my life planning to come up here all the way just to be suddenly brought down to spend the rest of my years aging quickly behind bars. So you are aware you are going to be put away for quite some time for this, right? I doubt that. More like you'll be cleaning this entire bridge without a tether, starting with a gum you tracked up onto the walkway. But hey, as I said, the fear of falling